In today's lesson, you're going to learn 15 phrasal verbs that use the particle up. These are very common phrasal verbs that I use in my own conversations all the time. Learning these phrasal verbs will help you understand natural, everyday English with native speakers. I've also created a free PDF worksheet with all of the notes and information from today's lesson. You can find the link in the description below. In order to understand these phrasal verbs, we really need to understand the particle up. Remember that language is a reflection of the way that we think. We can think about things in a very literal way, or we can also think about things on a more abstract level. So today's list of phrasal verbs will be separated into 5 different groups, starting with the most literal meaning of the word up, and the phrasal verbs will gradually become more abstract. And you will see that once you understand one sense of up, you will understand so many verbs in similar contexts. We know that the word up indicates a physical direction or movement. This is why it's easy to understand phrasal verbs like stand up, look up, and pick up. But we can expand that meaning to talk about an increase in something. And this is the perfect context for phrasal verb number 1, go up. If something increases in amount, level, price, etc., then it goes up. The average cost of a house went up by about 50%. The number of employees at the company has gone up from 50 to 200. Here's an example from a recent article. Expect some food prices to get cheaper next year, but typical grocery bills may still go up by $700. Next, if you want someone to increase their speed, you can say, hurry up. We use this phrasal verb to tell someone informally to do something faster. If we don't hurry up, we'll miss our flight.
Now hurry up, shut the door.
Everyone, we have 15 seconds.
Let's go, everybody, hurry up. Oh my God.
You'll sometimes hear people say, hurry it up, or hurry things up a little. It, or things, refers to the process. If you want someone to increase the volume on the TV, or increase the temperature of something, you can use the phrasal verb turn up. We use this phrasal verb with things that require a button or a switch. This is a separable phrasal verb, so you can turn the music up, or you can turn up the music. You can turn it up, but you cannot turn up it. Remember that pronouns can only be in the middle of separable phrasal verbs. If you don't know why, watch my other video to learn the fundamental rules, then come back and watch this lesson. Our next group of phrasal verbs use the word up to indicate an improved quality of something or someone. For example, grow up means to develop from being a child to being an adult. Grow up can also be used informally to tell someone to behave in a more responsible or mature way, like an adult. I talked about the difference between grow up and the single verb grow in my last video. Next, we have the phrasal verb dress up, and we use this in 2 very specific contexts. First, if you dress up, that means you wear clothes that are more formal than the clothes you would usually wear. So if you're invited to a wedding or a party, that is the perfect occasion to dress up. We also use dress up when we wear special clothes for fun, so you can dress up as something or someone for Halloween. Last Halloween, he dressed up as Superman. Now, because it's the beginning of the year, it's the perfect time to brush up on your skills. To brush up something or to brush up on something means to practice something that you learned how to do in the past. A real-life example for me is that I studied Korean in college, but I really need to brush up on my Korean because I haven't spoken the language in about 10 years. Yeah.
And looking for some new ways to get educated and brush up on your skills.
This program for veterans that need to brush up on their academic skills before they enter college.
In the comments, tell me about one skill that you'd like to brush up on this year. Now, the meaning of up will start to seem a little abstract, but I want you to imagine that you have a box and there's something inside. If you're standing in front and you want to see what's in the box, then the thing in the box needs to move. In which direction? Well, up. Now, the item in the box is in your range of vision. Keep that in mind when you think about our next phrasal verb. Go up to a person or a place. If you go up to someone, that means you approach someone or you go in the direction of someone. I went up to her and said hello. The meaning of up in this context is really about being closer to someone or something. So this can help us understand other similar verbs like come up to someone. The difference between go and come is all about the perspective. And the same is true for these phrasal verbs. Person A goes up to person B. But from person B's point of view, person A comes up to person B. Also, you can drive up to a location. For example, drive up to the window at the McDonald's drive-thru. Or you can run up to someone with exciting news. Do you remember the moment when Will Smith walked up to Chris Rock and slapped him?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. So you can make a lot of phrasal verbs with this meaning of up. Next, we have one of my favorite phrasal verbs, to look up something or look something up. And this means to try to find information in a book or on a computer or phone only. It's very important to consider the context of the situation because earlier I told you that look up with no object means to move your eyes in that direction. But that's very different than looking up the definition of a word in the dictionary. I looked up the address of a new restaurant that I want to try. Google is really useful because if you don't know something, you can just look it up.
Is this show a drama or a comedy?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Remember that it's not possible to use this phrasal verb in other situations. So if you lose your keys, you can't look up your keys. You can only search for your keys or try to find your keys. Next, to bring up something or to bring something up means to mention something or start talking about something. Remember, here we're using up to indicate that now we're introducing something new to the conversation and now it's in our vision. Every time he brings up money, they argue.
Just don't bring it up, okay? Okay.
If you agree with someone and you think that this is something that needs to be considered more, you can say that someone brings up a good point. This is a very common phrase that you can use during a work meeting.
Yeah, you bring up a good point there about just listening to other people's perspectives.
Well, you bring up a good point there in the last statement you made.
Now, imagine that you have a glass of water. If you fill up the glass, then you fill the glass until the water reaches the very top. So we sometimes use up to show that something has been done until completion, and you can no longer do something or add something. When I'm at the gas station, I fill up the tank all the way. My bookshelf is filled up. I don't have any room for more books. Another useful phrasal verb is to use something up. If something is used up, then you have used all of something and there's nothing left. I have to go to the store because we used up all the eggs. My roommate always uses up the hot water when she takes a shower. The next phrasal verb, break up, can be used in a few different situations. If a couple decides to end their relationship or marriage, then they break up. You can break up with someone, or two people can break up. Did you hear that John and Lucy broke up? Did he break up with her, or did she break up with him? Sometimes a band can break up if there are problems among the members. Another way to use break up is to say that something is separated into many smaller parts. There are so many phrasal verbs that have a similar meaning. Break up, split up, rip up, cut up, tear up, etc. And most of the time the action is intentional. So if I accidentally drop a glass, well, the glass breaks. But if I want to divide a cookie so I can share it, then I break it up into many pieces on purpose. If an athlete tears a muscle, then that is horrible and definitely not planned. But if someone tears up a piece of paper, well, that is not an accident. The last group of phrasal verbs is an important one. The particle up in this case signifies the result or the end of a particular situation. One of the most useful verbs, in my opinion, is end up, because it describes the outcome of something. But this outcome is not expected or intended, and it's often a consequence of something else. So you can end up doing something. I wasn't planning to leave, but I ended up moving because I got a new job. I told myself I would only watch one episode last night, but I ended up watching the whole series. The series ended up being more interesting than I thought. You can also end up at, on, in a location. Look at the title of this recent news article. 16-year-old flying solo on Frontier Airlines ends up in Puerto Rico instead of Ohio. That's a nice place to end up, right?
How did you escape? How did you end up here?
It's also possible to end up with something. My brother used to say that he never wanted to have kids, but he ended up with 3 of them. You can also use end up plus an adjective.
Well, you guys know that at some point I ended up homeless in my life.
The next phrasal verb is to mess up. This one's informal, and it means to do something incorrectly, to damage something, or to cause something to fail. You can mess up with no object, or you can mess something up. Everybody messes up sometimes. Everyone makes mistakes sometimes. I have to give an important presentation at work tomorrow, and I really don't want to mess it up. Messing something up can also mean to make something dirty or disorganized. I mess up the kitchen every time I cook. I walked outside and the wind messed up my hair. As an adjective with be plus messed up, it could also mean that something is full of problems.
Everything was messed up. Her work, her personal life, her relationships with her family.
And the more I learned, the more I started to feel that this whole world was messed up.
And the last phrasal verb I have for you today is give up. You can give something up or give up doing something. And this means to stop doing, having, or using something. His New Year's resolution is to give up eating junk food. To give up also means to stop trying to do something. You often hear the phrase, I give up.
Don't give up, sir. No, I give up. Don't give up. I give up. Don't give up.
So wait, you're just gonna give up?
No, I'm not giving up. No, I never give up.
I know that learning English can be really frustrating sometimes, but I hope that you never give up. Remember to click the link in the description to download the free PDF so you can practice all the phrasal verbs that you've learned. If this lesson was useful and you want more, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm Gina, and you can visit yourworldinenglish.com to learn more about me and my classes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!